Elisa Lam, also known by her Cantonese name Lam Ho Yi, from Vancouver, British Columbia, was a 21-year-old student who went on a solo trip to California that ultimately led to her tragic death. Her West Coast trip saw Elisa visiting San Diego, spending time at the zoo, before moving on to Los Angeles, which eventually took her to the infamous Cecil Hotel, now known as Stay on Main. The hotel was built by three hoteliers, William Banks Hanna, Charles L. Dix and Robert H. Shops, and construction began in the early 1920s, and the hotel was opened on December the 20th, 1924. The early 1920s saw the United States, and Los Angeles in particular, experience a boom in opulence, with many people enjoying the riches of wealth, but that was soon to be overshadowed and soon to come crashing down with the Great Depression of 1925. The arrival of the 1940s and the end of the Second World War, however, saw the economy of the US increase dramatically, and the Cecil Hotel was one of LA's many hotels, along with bars and nightclubs, that saw benefit from this. The decades beyond saw the hotel decline. Downtown Los Angeles became poorer and less appealing to the rich, as the nearby area known as Skid Row became increasingly populated with transients. As many as 10,000 homeless people lived within a 4-mile radius. Over the years, the Cecil Hotel became infamous as a result of violence, many suicides and murders. January 1947, Elizabeth Short, aka the Black Dahlia, was seen drinking in the bar of the Cecil Hotel with a friend just 3 days before her murder. Richard Ramirez, aka the Night Stalker, apprehended in August 1985, convicted September 1989, his victims included Jenny Vinkow, Veronica Yu, Vincent and Maxine Zazara, Billy Doy, Mary Cannon, Joyce Nelson, Sophie Dickman, Layla and Max Meading, Chinaron Kovarev. He died of complications of B-cell lymphoma while awaiting execution on death row in California in 2013. Ramirez stayed at the Cecil Hotel during his stay in Los Angeles. Jack Unterweger. During Unterweger's time in Los Angeles, 3 sex workers, Shannon Exley, Irene Rodriguez and Peggy Booth, were beaten, sexually assaulted with tree branches and strangled with their own bras. He was arrested for the murders in Austria. On the 29th of June 1994, he was sentenced to life in prison without possibility of parole. That night, Unterweger died by suicide at Graz Carlisle prison by hanging himself with a rope made from shoelaces and a cord from the trousers of a tracksuit, using the same knot that was found on all the strangled sex workers. His place of residence in Los Angeles? The Cecil Hotel. The hotel where Elisa Lam met her death. Elisa Lam's body was found inside a water tank on top of the Cecil Hotel on February the 19th, 2013, after she had been missing for more than 2 weeks. Elisa was found floating face up in the large water tank with her clothes beside her, along with a keycard, sandals and watch. Such was the positioning of her body that emergency services had to cut a hole in the bottom of the tank to gain access to her. During the time Elisa was missing, CCTV footage had been released of her last movements. This CCTV footage, taken in an elevator, became infamous. There were many cameras at the hotel, both outside, the front, on the left, on the right, inside the lobby, though it was this footage which was ultimately released, as nothing was found on any of the other CCTV cameras, at least not at the time, though it was later revealed that footage of Elisa, along with two men, was caught on a lobby camera. Ultimately, however, this was deemed as of no relevance to the inquiry, and such footage has not been released. This gave birth to legends, conspiracy theories of invisible soldiers, of murder, and of ghosts. Even demonic entities being responsible for the death of Elisa, with documentaries being made from all around the world. More recently, a Netflix miniseries. The reason so many rumours and mysteries surround Elisa Lam's disappearance and untimely death is because of many factors, such as the CCTV footage and its altered timeline, to the autopsy reports and the changing of dates within them. Elisa Lam arrived in Los Angeles on the 26th of January and checked into the hotel on the 28th of January, initially staying in a hostel-style room on the 5th floor. Her roommates complained to the hotel staff about her odd behaviour, and she was moved to a private room 3 days into her stay. This was also the last day she was reportedly seen alive by a hotel worker. Her parents, who said Elisa called to check in every day during her trip, said this was the last day they heard from her. She was due to check out of the hotel on the 1st of February and travel to Santa Cruz. The Lams contacted the LAPD, eventually flying all the way down to Los Angeles from Canada to assist with the search to find her. On February the 6th, the Los Angeles Police Department holds a press conference concerning Lam's disappearance, together with her household. On February the 13th, the police released footage of Elisa in an elevator, hoping the general public could provide possible clues to help find her. But it was only when Mike and Sabina Barr, a young couple from Plymouth, England, staying at the hotel, complained about the water pressure and its colour a few days later, that the hotel sent maintenance worker Santiago Lopez to investigate. It is February 19th, and as Lopez checks the water tank, he sees the hatches open. He soon discovers Elisa's naked body inside, and the hotel manager Amy Price is informed, and the authorities are notified.
We begin with a disturbing development in the search for a young Vancouver woman in Los Angeles.
Details tonight in connection with a grim discovery at a downtown LA hotel. Police now believe the body found inside a rooftop water tank is that of a tourist who disappeared 3 weeks ago.
The body of a Canadian woman who was missing in LA has now been found. Elisa Lam disappeared 3 weeks ago.
Firefighters used their specialized tools to be able to cut the sides of the tank, remove the metal so they could as carefully remove the body for the coroner's office to conduct their investigation.
For many, the footage in the elevator became the evidence of foul play in Elisa's death, some claiming that unseen forces prevented her from escaping her fate. The elevator not closing for her, a mysterious stranger whose foot can be seen as she leaves the elevator, all of which adding to the mystery, but none highlighting the true tragedy. Elisa had been suffering from bipolar disorder for years and had been admitted to hospital sometime previously due to a psychotic episode. To help her with this condition, she was prescribed antidepressant and antipsychotic medication, Wellbutrin, Lamictal, Seroquel and Effexor. Elisa's actions in the elevator and in the hall outside display signs of a transient psychotic episode. The elevator was not malfunctioning for her. Indeed, it was her pressing buttons randomly, most importantly the hold, which prevented the door from closing. Elisa did this on more than one occasion, stepping back into the elevator and pressing all the buttons wildly, and again pressing the button to hold. Some have suggested the footage shows Elisa talking to a stranger off camera, or holding her hands to her head in pain or discomfort due to a demonic entity or negative spirit possessing her. Each floor of the hotel has a mirror in the halls facing the elevators in an offset manner, with the location of the mirror and her movements and position in relation to it. This suggests Elisa was messing with her hair or face. The foot in the hall. People say the video shows the foot of a stranger as Elisa leaves the elevator. This, however, is due to a quirky step over that Elisa had when turning sometimes. Elisa shows several times throughout the video she is suffering from distress due to her condition and the medications for it. These medications were Wellbutrin, an antidepressant of the family norepinephrine dopamine reuptake inhibitor, and NDRI. Side effects include delusions, hallucinations, paranoia, confusion, and possibly twice the likelihood of suicidal thoughts. Lamictal, an anticonvulsant. Side effects include aggression, feeling irritable or agitated, shaking or tremors, thoughts of harming or killing yourself. Indeed, a small number of people taking Lamictal for bipolar disorder have had suicidal thoughts. Seroquel, an antipsychotic. Side effects include blurred vision, feeling lightheaded, confusion, suicidal thoughts, and severe nervous system reaction. Effects are an antidepressant, a serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor, SNRI. It has a black box warning from the FDA for possible suicide risk. Suddenly stopping medication may cause discontinuation syndrome, leading to emotional lability, which is exaggerated changes in mood or effect in quick succession. Effexor is neither recommended nor approved for the treatment of major depressive episodes in bipolar disorder, as it can induce mania or mixed episodes. Following the announcement of the discovery of Elisa, the hotel became a media circus, with the coroner's office taking 4 months to release the autopsy and toxicology reports, conducted by Dr. Tovar and assisted by Dr. Wang. They noted, Elisa was known to be on 4 prescription medications for her bipolar disorder, and these very medications were found in her bloodstream. However, Dr. Tovar described that the levels were interestingly low. This discovery corresponds with the police's search through her belongings, as they reached the conclusion that she had more medication than she should have after comparing the quantity against the fill date. Dr. Tovar said that such evidence suggests that she was undertaking her medication, which was echoed and agreed upon by clinical and forensic neurophysiologist Dr. Judy Ho, who believes Elisa was experiencing a psychotic episode before her passing as a result. It seems a lack of medication prescribed for her condition may have led to Elisa drowning in a water tank on the roof. But if this is correct, how did she get there in the first place? By looking at the elevator video footage, we can see that the last time Elisa is seen, she turns to her left to walk down the corridor. The shape of the hotel when viewed from above is like a giant capital E. And when looking at a floor plan, we can see the layout of the corridors and rooms, including the elevators. As mentioned earlier, from the elevator footage we can see Elisa walks to her left, past the hallway mirror and down the hall towards the stairwell. As Elisa was found on the roof, and given that no evidence suggests she went back to her room or anywhere else in the hotel, we can deduce that it is likely that Elisa stayed on the 14th floor or went up to the 15th floor via the stairwell. Many people have walked the corridors of the hotel trying to retrace her footsteps. At times they have been stopped by security, suggesting Elisa would have been seen if she had been aimlessly wandering the hotel for hours. A possible route for Elisa to get to the roof in her supposed deranged state via the 14th floor is as follows. She walked down the hall and past the stairs, turning to her right and down the corridor, finally turning left towards the window and the fire escape ladder. Climbing the ladder, she gained access to the roof. Making her way across the roof to the maintenance room and elevator mechanism housing, climbing the ladder affixed to the wall. This gave her an elevated platform with which to drop directly onto the top of the water tanks. As Santiago Lopez said the hatch was open on the tank Elisa was found in, it's not difficult for her to get inside the tank. If Elisa had taken the stairs to the 15th floor, she still could have taken any number of routes with which to get to the fire escape to make access to the roof. In any case, once Elisa was on the roof, she would still have access to the top of the tanks via the same method described earlier. Many people have tried to find answers to some of the questions surrounding Elisa's death. Internet sleuths such as myself, and paranormal personalities. Despite the autopsy finding no evidence of foul play, many people still think she was murdered. Mexican death metalist Pablo Vergara, aka Morbid, being wrongfully accused by internet trolls and cyberbullies. This video does not address all of the questions and oddities surrounding Elisa's death. It is just a glimpse into a very real possibility of what happened to Elisa that day. Elisa was an active blogger and internet user, posting quotes, thoughts and pictures on different social media. Looking at these posts sheds a light upon a side of Elisa many have not seen, and her words tell a story. Before you diagnose yourself with depression or low self-esteem, first make sure that you are not, in fact, surrounded by assholes. I overcame myself, the sufferer. I carried my own ashes to the mountains. I invented a brighter flame for myself. You've been somebody long enough. You spent the first half of your life becoming somebody. Now you can work on becoming nobody, which is really somebody. For when you become nobody, there is no tension, no pretense, no one trying to be anyone or anything. The natural state of the mind shines through unobstructed, and the natural state of the mind is pure love. Elisa Lam bravely fought an illness despite sometimes being in great mental pain. She was a daughter. She was a sister. She was a friend. She was a human being. Elisa Lam will never be forgotten, but she should not be remembered for simply being the girl who died in the tank.